spray setting do you go with? Do you go with full? Do you go with jet? How about cone? Maybe shower? Center? Flat? Mist? For me, it has to be full. I feel like I get more distribution of water with this setting, and this is my go-to option usually for watering most crops. Hello again everybody, I hope you're all keeping well. I'm down on the allotment on this very warm, very humid day. It's the 12th of June and it is 26 degrees already, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, so it's very, very warm. Hence why I've got my hat on, my sunglasses, my shorts, although I am a little bit more exposed to the red ants with these shorts, so I do have to be careful. Yeah, it's very warm and it's been incredibly dry for the last 5-6 weeks as well. We did have some thundery downpours a couple of days ago, but nothing really to write home about. But to be honest, the soil's still very dry and it just run off the top of it, and it's supposed to be dry all this week. So we are really struggling to keep the crops watered. I found that I'm watering every 1 to 2 days. Yeah, it's hard work. I am really hoping for some large rainfall, to be honest. You know, we're really hoping for some rain. So yeah, June allotment tour. I didn't actually do a May allotment tour, you may have noticed, and that's simply because I didn't have time to do the May allotment tour. So that just means there's more to talk about in the June allotment tour, and there is a heck of a lot going on actually. Very busy. So busy, in fact, I've not managed to do everything. You know, there's things that you know, I still need to move, and things I still need to harvest, like this garlic for example. I need to harvest this garlic. It's covered in rust and it's ready now. So yes, before we get into the June allotment tour, I'd just like to say, if you like the video, hit that like button because it really does help out a lot. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can see when I upload new content just like this. So with all that being said, let's get into my June allotment tour. So first we'll go over the things that are going on outside, and then I will take you into the greenhouses and polytunnels and show you what's going on in there. There's a lot going on in there at the moment, and because it's been so sunny, they're growing really fast. They're doing really well, the things that are in there. So yes, outdoor stuff first. So we'll start off at the very front of the plot where we have our sweet peas, which went out in March, and they weren't really doing much actually for quite a while. They just stayed still, and now they are finally taking off, and there's actually flowers on a lot of them. I've actually picked a bunch of them actually the other day because I want to encourage them to grow bigger. Around here the sweet peas are doing really well. They're about halfway up the supports now, and there's flowers on them. Like I said, I am cutting the flowers off when I can to encourage them to produce more. Last week we discovered a wasp nest in our shed in the storage container, and they were actually getting in through this gap here just underneath the finial. They were coming in through the finial gap, and they were actually getting into this storage container through a small gap underneath. We've sorted them out now. I went in with this brush and just smashed the nest up. Whoa! Ah! And yeah, they've gone elsewhere. Yeah, they just disappeared, to be honest. They flew off. So yeah, I'm glad we sorted that out while the nest was only small. Few sunflowers that we do have at the front of here. We've got some black ones and a variety called Moonwalker. So, you know, these are probably a little bit small, you know, for what I'd expect for this time of year, but I'm sure they will catch up. You know, they've not really moved much since I put them in. Over here we have our Dill's Atlantic Giant Pumpkin, purely in horse manure, and actually it needs watering, this, as you can see. I am going to be doing a water after this video, So yeah, it's incredibly dry. Just look at that, really dry. And coming over here, in the bed next to it, we have our squashes and pumpkins in here. I've had to keep things on top of these, like these baskets, to actually stop blackbirds from digging in the soil. I figured out it's actually blackbirds because I saw them do it. I'm assuming they're looking for worms and stuff like that. So yeah, they've been a big problem. I mean, digging holes all over the place. We've companion planted some borage as well. I don't actually eat the flowers off these. There was one person that pointed out that apparently borage flowers can contain toxic chemicals. I'm not too sure on the name, which is interesting actually. But I don't actually eat the borage flowers. I simply have them here for the bees, and because they're a good companion crop. And to be honest, I really like borage. I think that, blue's my favourite colour, so they are nice to flower. So this is our squash and pumpkin bed here, and my idea is these are just going to trail across and fill out this area, which looks a little bit grim, to be honest. It's not the best corner of the plot. And these are growing purely in horse manure and homemade compost. I just piled it all on and they're growing in that. This apple tree here gave us some delicious apples last year, and I'm not thinning these out. There's only about a dozen apples on here, so I'm just going to leave them on. This variety is called Discovery, and they are really, really delicious. So yes, there are some small apples on here growing nicely. And there's a tree right next to it, which is a Victoria plum. And there's also some fruits on there, actually. Not many of them, but there are some small plums. I'm not expecting much off this yet because it is only its third season. There is more plums on it than last year, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get something off this. Over here we have our two pallet raised beds, which we made ourselves during the winter, and we filled up using the hugelkultur method, and we planted asparagus in. We planted asparagus in this one, and we have planted asparagus in this one. From two different suppliers though, and clearly this bed with the asparagus from Marshall's has done much better than the asparagus in this bed. In fact, there is no asparagus visible in this bed. Well, there's this, I suppose. There's that one, and there's one over there. But yeah, the crowns were very small with these ones. They were tiny, and on here, the crowns were about 1.5 feet long. So yeah, these ones have done amazing. But since the asparagus didn't work in this bed, I just decided that I was going to plant something else in it this year, so we're not wasting the space. And we've got a couple of courgettes in here, which are doing nicely actually. They're growing quite well. There's actually a courgette on there. And there's some flowers on there, some male flowers on that one. Actually, no, there's a courgette on there as well, actually. So, yes, lovely. Really good. We should have some courgettes in another week or so. And I planted a couple of rows of carrots. Now, I've not netted these over simply because they are so far off the ground. The carrot root fly only flies so far off the ground. I do need to thin these out. So yeah, I'm hoping that this shouldn't be affected by the root fly. Now, you would think if the carrot root fly really wanted the carrots, they would be determined enough to fly a little bit more than 60 centimeters. I don't know how far it is, but I think it's less than the height of this bed. So we've been picking strawberries in the polytunnel for a good 2 weeks now, and we've now just now, last couple of days, started picking the outdoor strawberries in the strawberry cage. Some really nice ones actually in here, some nice big strawberries. So these are really nice. And we have more strawberries here. I need to cover these over actually with netting before the birds get them in, because they are starting to ripen now. And similar story with the extra raised bed of strawberries as well. There's just strawberries everywhere. Look at all those, just covered in them. I think we'll be making a lot of jam this year. It's probably freezing a lot. I like to freeze strawberries and then take them out and put them with yogurt. That's how I like to eat them. Yeah, and of course there's more strawberries in buckets here. Yeah, there's just strawberries everywhere. We really love them. So, yes, I forgot to show you this. This is our pure horse manure raised bed, which has some tromboncino squash and butternut squash in. I actually need to water here. This one is looking a little bit sad. The reason why this mesh is here is to stop the blackbirds from going in and digging. They've been digging in here and here. In one of my latest videos, I said that I thought there were rats, but no, it is blackbirds. Our brassica beds has our broccoli in. No signs of any broccoli yet, but it is still early days. But the plants are getting to a good size now. If you can see through that netting, the plants are doing really well, despite this really hot weather. You know, brassicas don't really like heat waves like we're having at the moment. Actually, there's visible signs of stress there with the cabbage. See, the leaves are starting to droop. Yeah, you know, it's because of the hot, dry weather. As I said, I need to water soon. But we've got kale and we've got golden acre primo cabbages, and we've already started picking the kale. And it's really, really nice. We made some kale crisps yesterday, and they were lovely. Elephant garlic bed. You know, I'm really happy that they've not been affected by the rust, because our normal garlic, really, really bad rust problem on those. Whereas, you know, with the elephant garlic, they are fine. And we planted these, I think it was the 1st of December last year, right before we had a really deep freeze, where we got down to -10, and I thought that it was going to kill the tops of these off as they emerged. But yeah, they've done amazing, and the bulbs are actually starting to swell. They're probably not going to be ready for another month or so yet, but they are growing and they are doing well. I've picked the scapes off the top, and we ate those. They're really, really nice garlic scapes. So yeah, that's the elephant garlic bed, doing really nicely. Our runner beans are doing really, really well, which we planted at the middle of May. We planted them out middle of May, and they're actually reaching the top of the support. Some of them, look at that one up there, reaching the top. So yeah, these are doing brilliant. There are actually flowers on the bottom lot. I'm not exactly expecting them to set beans, to be honest. The lower ones usually don't really do much. We've actually planted spinach here. My idea is that these runner beans will shade the spinach plants, which will keep them cool, because they are a cool weather crop, spinach, although they're not getting the shade at the moment. And similar thing with the lettuce here. Our second lot of lettuce which we put out, they are going to get shaded by these beans, and hopefully they're not going to bolt. Let's hope that they don't bolt. On the other side we also have beans, but we have Bull-Hilled purple podded beans, and we have French climbing bean Blue Lake here, which are also starting to now grip their canes and grow up them as well. We have some courgettes here as well along here. We've got 3 plants. Yep, these also need watering. It's incredibly dry. It's like the Sahara Desert. Look at it, just dry. Our herb bed has gone a little bit wild, to be honest. Our chives have gone crazy. Really good for the bees though, so I like keeping these flowers for the bees. Oregano has just taken over, as it always does. And the mint, we have a few mints, and they're in pots for obvious reasons. You know, it's a big mistake growing mint in the open ground, because they will just take over in a matter of weeks. We're growing a heck of a lot of onions this year. This bed here, and this bed here, and also another bed over there. So we've got Ayrshire Craig onions and Bedfordshire Champion onions in this bed, and you know, they are looking a little bit smaller than other people's onions that have done it from sets. But I did all these from seed, so they do take longer to get going. But once they get going, they really do get going. But I think I'll be harvesting these in July. These onions. There are some people on the site that are already harvesting some of their onions, but that's just because we've done them from sets. In fact, I may do my onions from sets next year because I started these seeds at Christmas, and it's just very finicky and very time consuming. So I may do sets next year. We'll see. But they are starting to swell up now, and it's just keeping them well watered really at the moment to get them onions to swell up nicely. And we have some red ones over here, some really nice red ones. They're doing all right. I sowed some carrots in between the onions as a little experiment to see if they'll deter the carrot root fly. So yeah, time will tell. I will let you all know what happens with that. See if we get any carrots this year off those. These are just some later onions I've just thrown in here. And then we have some red mammoth onions, the largest red onion in cultivation in this bed over here alongside our lettuce. Yes, I'm trying to get this tour done as quick as I can, guys, because my phone keeps kicking off at me saying it's too hot. So it is quite a difficult one to record today for you all. So I do hope you managed to catch everything. With these lettuces, we've been picking them now for about 2 months. And what I do, well, to be honest, this one's going to be bolting very soon and going to seed. But with the ones around it, like this Lola Rosso, we just pick the leaves from the outside and we just keep coming back and picking whatever we need. And that gives us a good continuous supply throughout the spring. But yeah, it is getting a bit too hot for lettuce now. Hence why the lettuce is over there is underneath the runner bean supports. Our Brussels sprouts in this bed here, which we grew Brussels sprouts in last year, they're doing nice and well. They're putting on a good bit of growth now. They're about a foot tall or so. So yeah, they're about where they should be for this time of year, really. But obviously, we're not going to get any Brussels sprouts till Christmas. So yeah, we just basically just leave them in there. Don't really touch them for 6 months, and just let them do their own thing, really. So we've started harvesting our Kestrel secondaries now. Yeah, I've been picking them from here as and when I need them. But also, we have a few more buckets of Kestrel potatoes over here as well to pick. These will probably be, a good size for peeling by the time we get to them. We're just taking them as and when we need them every week. And we have a lot of main crop potatoes. Yes, it's gone a little bit wild. They're also over there as well. 33 buckets of main crop potatoes. Mainly redskins. We've got 2 redskin potatoes, Satanta and Sarpamira, and then we've got some King Edward as well. And yes, we're gonna have a lot of potatoes. And in fact, I'm gonna do a nice potato reveal video on some of these when they are ready. So I know a lot of you like potato reveal videos. You've told me, so that'll be coming soon. Probably in the next month or so, I think. But the only problem with this is I didn't really think it through properly. It's just taking up all the paths, which is a bit irritating because there's a plot right behind me there which is overgrown and not being used, and there's nobody on it. It's been empty for 3 months. And I've got all these potatoes here which I have no space for. So, it is a little bit irritating watching space go to waste over there while we have all this. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, it's been very difficult to water these, keep on top of the watering. I've even mulched them with straw, and I've been watering them like every day. That's simply because the potatoes are starting to get to a nice size and they're taking up a lot of water. Around this area where there's not potatoes, we have parsnips, which have thinned out now. These are doing really nicely. Keeping an eye out for black fly though. We have had yeah, there's some black fly on there, so I do need to do something about that soon. This long bed here, we have leeks, which, yeah, they're doing all right. They're putting on some growth, you know, not massive, but we'll see. I'm hoping they don't bolt in this hot weather. I really do hope they don't bolt, because they are a cool season crop. Our 2 beetroot beds, yeah, they're doing all right. They are very leafy. You know, there's a lot of leaves, but there's not really much in the way of beetroots. You know, yeah, there are small beetroots on there, but you know, we're still gonna. There's still a while off yet, I think, on harvesting them. You know, yeah, very small beet. What the heck? Okay, just nearly got stung by a bee or a wasp or something. We've got our sweet corn in this bed with a load of homemade compost and horse manure. And yeah, I think they are starting to take off now, actually. You can see some new growth starting to appear on the top. And we have our garlic right next to it. It looks a little bit of a mess over here. And that's due to, look at the rust on there. There's a lot of rust. But, you know, there are bulbs that are formed. So I think we're going to be harvesting these in the next week. And we also have a lot more garlic. We have some in the polytunnel as well, by the way, which actually we've already picked a couple of those and they were really nice. We have some in this bed over here. The potatoes have just swamped them though. Yeah, they are starting to go. They are starting to bend over now and go all limp. So I think they may be ready to harvest. So I think there'll be a video coming on that in the next week or so. Now in March, a plot neighbour kindly gifted me 3 blueberry bushes. To my surprise, it actually took really well, and there's actually blueberries on them. I didn't expect that. I thought that they wouldn't really do much, you know, because of the root disturbance, but yeah, to my surprise, there are blueberries on there, so excellent. I'll show you all down here, because there's just simply so much. But we have thornless blackberries, gooseberries, some more rhubarb, some black currant bushes further down there, which the birds have stolen half of them, obviously. And we've got our raspberries here as well, which are also fruiting. There's loads of raspberries on here. Yeah, so that's good. We have summer we have summer raspberries and we have autumn raspberries here. Now, this long flower bed along here has been giving us some nice allium blooms for the last few weeks. I think they are starting to finish off a little bit though now. There are some more coming through. But yeah, we really like alliums. My absolute favourite spring flowering bulb. But to replace the alliums when they do die back, there are loads of these blue cornflowers all dotted around. There is some borage as well and some wildflowers which I've planted. But yeah, some of them, they are starting to come through now. So that should be a really nice display of blue cornflowers all along here throughout the summer. So yes, they will be really nice. Let's start the greenhouses and polytunnels. I think I've done everything outside, at least anything notable, you know, anything interesting I've gone over, I think. So inside, wow, it's very warm in here. Even with the vents open, it's scorching. It must be 40 degrees in here. So yeah, ignoring the random stuff that I have laying about, I need to have a bit of a tidy around the plot, to be honest. We have all our peppers, which weren't doing anything up until recently when we started getting all the sun. You know, we've had sunny days now for the past month or so. So, you know, they are taking off now. Finally, they are starting to produce some buds and some new growth. So yeah, I might actually trim the tops of these off to encourage bushy growth, to be honest. But yeah, they are moving, so that's a good sign. But we are, you know, middle of June now, so I'd expect that. We have some gherkin cucumbers here, which I'm growing up canes. Decided to do the cane method of growing these. And yeah, there's gherkins on those. I need to make sure that these don't get heat stressed though, because they will go bitter. So I'm keeping an eye on the temperature in here. I need to open this, leave the door open in here. Yeah, we have some more random pots and stuff and back up in case we lose some. We have some chilies there, and we have our San Marzano tomatoes. Now, we are growing a lot of tomatoes this year, as you may know, a lot of heritage varieties, but I wanted to grow some sauce tomatoes as well because we really like using them in sauces. So these San Marzano plum tomatoes are ideal for making sauces and pastes and stuff like that. So these are growing up strings as well. So yeah, that's the new polytunnel. I need to put a border around here when I have time. But yeah, new polytunnel coming along nicely, filled up with all sorts of goodies. Yeah, this is the budget polytunnel by Outsunny, which I did a video on in, I think it was February or March. I'll either leave an end card at the end of this video, or I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check out my review. I do a fully, I do an honest review on the Outsunny polytunnel, which I bought at Wilko. So yeah, go and check that out if you are interested in buying a budget polytunnel. Okay, so we'll go in the big greenhouse, which obviously has tomatoes in, which, you know, they're all the same fruits now. A lot of them. There are a lot of flowers on, and yeah, fruits. Black Beauty's there, coming along. Black Beauty tomatoes. So these tomatoes are mostly hybrids actually. We've got Sweet Aperitif, Shirley, Black Opal. Black Opal isn't even a hybrid actually. It is an open pollinated variety. And we've also got Sungold, which is a hybrid, and Black Beauty, which is a heritage variety. So yeah, mostly just standard tomatoes in here really. And yeah, so I'm just remember, when your flowers do start coming through on your tomatoes, give them a good tap, and that will pollinate them. That will release the pollen from inside the flower, and that will pollinate them. They are self-pollinating though, tomatoes, so you know, that's all they need. You don't need to transfer between flowers, just give them the quick tap, and that is all they need really. So yeah, that's that. I don't want to see any dry set or anything on these, or, you know, poorly pollinated flowers. So I'm tapping them every day I come in here. On the bench here we have a load of random spare bits and bobs, to be honest. Yeah, these are all just backup things which aren't doing too great because they are in here. But yeah, we have some beans, some more sweet corn. I think we'll plant these though when our garlic comes out. We will replace the garlic with some more sweet corn, I think. We have our 2 aubergines in here, which I've trimmed the tops off now to encourage bushier growth. And yeah, I'm really happy with these. I never ever have any success with aubergines, but I did sow them at Christmas, and I had them at home until a couple of weeks ago. So that's probably why they've done so well. But yeah, I found that aubergines are a very fussy plant to grow, to be honest. And even with the door wide open and the 2 louver vents, which are automatic, got gas in here, which, so when it gets hot they automatically open and close. It's still 38.9 degrees. Oh, 39 degrees. And it got up to 40.5 before. So yeah, even, if I closed the vents and everything, it'd be like 45, 50 degrees in here, which is ridiculous. So yeah, it's hard to cool them down. It's very, very warm. Okay, so we're in the big polytunnel now, and we have a couple of mini munch cucumbers. I've already picked one of these actually, but it's loaded with these cucumbers. Look at that. We grew these last year and they were really good, but they were very, very prolific plants. And the cucumbers are just absolutely delicious. So I thought I'd grow them again, and I'm growing them with strings this year. So we also have a heck of a lot of tomatoes. This is the tomato polytunnel, and it has all these heritage tomatoes in. I've got 40 varieties which I'm growing this year, and yeah, tapping all these flowers and trimming off all these side shoots is proving to be a very time-consuming job. But yeah, we've got some tomatoes appearing on a lot of them now. Yeah, we've got a lot of flowers, but it's very, very warm in here as well. Barry's Crazy Cherry here, covered in flowers. Look at that, look at the size of them bunches of flowers. It's crazy. You can see where this plant gets its name from. And over the last few weeks, I had been discovering a robin in here every time I came in the polytunnel. And the reason being is there's actually a robin's nest underneath this strawberry hanging basket. There's actually 4 robins in there from what I can see. This door is open here, so it is much cooler for them near here. You know, there is a bit of a draft. But they're inside this hanging basket of strawberries. So I've been picking strawberries all this time and I hadn't even known there was a robin, there was baby robins under there. So yeah, crazy really. I weren't happy about the wasp nest, but you know, the robin's nest is a pleasant surprise. The polytunnel strawberries are coming to a finish now, and we are starting to pick the outdoor ones. I released a video this week on suspected aminopyralid damage on my tomatoes, just a couple of them. So well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if any more tomatoes start to show signs of it. Thankfully though, you know, all the other ones seem to be rather healthy. So we'll see what happens. And this little 6 by 6 foot greenhouse, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess in here, to be honest. I do need to sort this out and put a border in. But we have more tomatoes here. In fact, yeah, I need to make sure I'm trimming the side shoots off those. Yeah, some extra tomatoes in here. Some really nice varieties. This one's Rebel Starfighter Prime. That's supposed to be a really nice one. I need to sort that out though. Yeah, I have neglected in here a little bit and just let it do its own thing, to be honest. So yeah, that was my June allotment tour. I don't think I've gone over everything though, to be honest. There are little bits I've missed out, but you know, it would just be a really long video. There's just so much. You know, I always end up getting attacked by wasps or bees. Yeah, so yeah, that was my June allotment tour. A heck of a lot going on. Very, very dry. Struggling to get everything watered as well. You know, it's taking a lot of watering at the moment. It's so dry. You know, us Brits aren't used to seeing that big orange ball in the sky. It's quite a rare occurrence, really. So, you know, we are making the most of the sunny, hot weather, but you know, it is very, very, it's detrimental to our plants when, you know, they're not getting enough water. Like these runner beans are starting to look a bit droopy. So I am going to get on with doing a water now, actually, before I go to work. So yeah, the joys of that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, if you like the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can see when I upload new content of anything gardening related, really. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, happy gardening and stay safe.